because life have knocked you down pretty hard and you're ready to get back up, we've extended a helping hand and loads of sister love just for you. So get up. It's time to rebrand your life and LIVE. Welcome to Worldwide Women Speakers Online Conference, Rebrand Your Life and Live, sponsored by Worldwide Women Speakers at worldwidewomenspeakers.com. Today's conference is designed with your success in mind. Just like you, we've been hit hard too. It did not seem like we could get back up, and at times, we didn't want to get back up. But here we are, thriving. We want you to know there's room for you at the top too. So come on, reach out for our hand and get up. We have a team of amazing women who desire to walk alongside of you, educate, empower, encourage, and inspire you to live out of your greatness. Now that you're here, it's time to take action. The best part about it is that there are hundreds of women right here, right now, just like you and just like me, who are ready to rebrand their life and live. Our amazing speakers include inspirational leaders from the Worldwide Women Speakers Dream Team, including Law of Attraction coach Angela Denise, inspirational speaker and author Jessaca Rowe, inspirational speaker, author, and survivor Venus Chandler, mindset maven Athena Blue, empowerment specialist Sharon Marie Stewart. Our keynote session today is brought to you by holistic transformational coach Tomika Haynes. I'm your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver, and you are our special guest. You're amazing. You're a game changer. You're a winner. There's nothing ordinary about you. You're a joy to be around. Throughout our time together, you will hear from our speakers. You'll have time to reflect on the rebranding strategies that they've shared with you. You'll get an opportunity to give us your feedback, write down your takeaways, and be encouraged to take action. If you're unable to hang out with us for the time that we've allotted for you, simply bookmark your spot and return as time permits later today, because we'll be here waiting to inspire your heart. Simply leave a review on Yelp or subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. We'll be sure to send a free ebook, It's Your Season, directly to your inbox. Now, if you're ready to renounce fear, shame, guilt, depression, grief, lack, low confidence, if you're ready to step into your greatness, then let's not keep the world waiting. It's time to rebrand your life and live. Just before we grow, call a friend, because they need to know that the Worldwide Speakers, inspirational leaders, are here to inspire their heart. Be sure and send them the link, www.worldwidewomenspeakers.com. That's www.worldwidewomenspeakers.com. Have them join us right now. Okay, let's grow. Did you know that 11.6 million firms in the U.S. are owned by women who employ nearly 9 million people and generate $1.7 trillion in sales. And would you believe those statistics? They're literally for just 1 year, the year 2017. And it has done nothing less but grow since then. Women who own their own business. Now, oftentimes women start a business after a layoff, perhaps after a divorce, for various reasons, perhaps a mind shift or even a new lifestyle. Whatever the reason, I want to remind you today, we want to remind you today that it's never, ever too late to rebrand your life and live. Our next guest, speaker, author, and law of attraction coach, Denise, she's here today and prepared to inspire us as she shares her story and success strategies about rebranding her life after starting a business. Today she's going to remind us that perhaps for someone today, perhaps you, this is a great time to rebrand your life and live and start a business or expand your business. So we welcome Miss Angela. Welcome to our teleconference as you are prepared to share, inspire, and encourage our heart today as we talk about rebranding your life and living after starting a business. Welcome, Angela.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here today just to tell a little bit about my story, and thank you for everyone just joining in and listening.
It's a great opportunity to share your story. So often, Angela, people, especially women, we are hit heavy. We're hit hard in life, and we want to quit. We want to give up, and we say, forget it. Enough is enough. And sometimes we sit down. We sit it out. We don't show up. But today, as we talk about rebranding your life and living after starting a business, we know that's your story. So tell us a little bit about your story about rebranding your life and starting a business.
Wow, so rebranding my life after starting a business has been a journey. It's definitely a journey. It's definitely life-changing as well, too, as a lot of us as women, we have that business mindset that we want to actually, start a business. We have ideas. Sometimes we're not sure if we want to move forward with them or what actually to do, but it's definitely a journey that you can take. It's just about also learning as much as you possibly can through that journey, getting assistance when you need it as far as from coaches and things, and getting with people that already have businesses, that are already going to where you are. So it's definitely a journey and an experience and uplifting, and it also gives you that strength, that empowerment as well to just keep on moving. And sometimes, sometimes things happen even, within the business, but just, hanging in there and continue to move forward with building your business.
I love how you say, hey, things happen, because we can all attest to the fact that life happens. But the great thing is there is life after life. And so as we talk about rebranding, let's go back and define rebranding for people so they'll know what we're talking about and what they're thinking and what we're thinking is on the same page. So rebranding your life is about repositioning yourself. It's about being able to stand out. And often, Angela, as women, we're afraid to stand out. We're afraid to reposition because it's uncomfortable. And sometimes we've been told, like, if we stand out, we're conceited, we think we're all that. I don't know, maybe you've had that experience along your journey that's been amazing. Maybe it's been difficult and you had to deal with people saying, who do you think you are, and all that negative stuff. So as you started reliving and living life after rebranding and starting your business, how did your experience help you to value how important it is to stand out? And what lessons did you learn that you would like for us to learn from your story?
It's definitely important to stand out when you're starting your business, when you're running your business and everything. A lot of times as women, we may be more quiet, more introverted, and not want to take that step up and stand out because we're so worried about what others are going to say. But when you are starting your business and you're rebranding yourself and you're repositioning yourself, it's very important that, hey, this is your business. This is what you're passionate about. This is what your purpose is and what you're moving forward. And it's so important to stand out because you know what your why is. You know what your vision is. You know where you're going. Everybody else may not know where you're going. They may not can understand. They may not can see. They may tell you that, hey, I don't understand why you're doing this. That's not going to work. But you have to keep your vision. You have to keep your why right in front of you so that you can know, and that can be your reason that you get up early in the morning. That's your reason that you go to bed late at night. That's your reason that you go to sleep and then you get up thinking about an idea that you need to work on, that you're grabbing your phone and you're grabbing your laptop because you have another idea that you want to produce and a product that you want to produce. So you can't worry about what everybody is going to say because you're going to have a lot of negative people around because they're not going to understand your vision because God did not give them your vision. God gave you your vision. So the only person that can really see where you're going is you. So you have to keep that motivation. You have to keep the momentum to keep on moving forward to your why, to your goal, to your vision.
So what was it like for you, Angela, before you rebranded your life and started a business? What was life like for you? What shift did you have to make? How did you have to reposition yourself because it perhaps wasn't going the way you wanted it to go or something didn't work for you? What was your journey like?
My journey, I was actually as most of us as women, we get into a routine. We get up. If we have kids, we get the kids dressed. We get them ready for school. We go to work. We come back home. We get the kids. We cook. We clean, or whichever. And it becomes a routine. And then it also becomes comfortable for us. But when I had that idea that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I wanted to be a business owner, it stayed with me. I may stop and continue with my routine or continue with me being comfortable, but I had to make the decision that, okay, it's time for me to take this journey. And as women, a lot of times we want to stay comfortable, but in order for you to elevate, you have to get uncomfortable. So it took me rebranding myself where I had to say, okay, I'm going to start making some changes. Let me start researching. Let me start listening to some motivational videos. Let me start reading some books. And then so that I can understand this realm of business, so I can understand exactly what I'm trying to do. So as women, we have to say, okay, we cannot just forget about our vision altogether. We cannot just let that inside of us just die. We have to step up and we have to step out and we have to, follow our vision and follow our goals and everything, because if not, it's still going to be there. It's not going to go anywhere. And so we have to take those necessary steps. So getting around people that are, already there where you're trying to be, getting a mentor, reading as much as you possibly can, looking at motivational videos, reading books, whatever you can do, go ahead and do it. Stop waiting. A lot of times we procrastinate and we don't. We say we're going to do it tomorrow, or I'll do it next week, or I'll do it next month. And months turn into years, and years turning sometimes a lifetime without us stepping up and stepping out and going for our vision and our goals.
For someone listening right now, that's a mother may I giant step. Even though it seems like it's a small thing to do, it's like a hard step for them to take. Research says that most people start a business either A, out of a painful experience, or B, out of a gifting and a talent that they have. Now, if it's out of a gifting and a talent, that step is not so difficult. But if it's out of pain, that's a really tough step to take. So let me ask you, did you start your business out of a talent and a gift, or out of a pain point, or from a pain point?
My business has started from a pain point. I realized that from my pain, instead of me keeping it in, instead of me being embarrassed to tell my story, that I could help other women, that I could give them the strategies and the tools to step up and stand out and stand strong within themselves, that if they have a vision, if they have a goal that they want to meet, that they can do it, that they can go ahead and they can do it. So instead of me keeping everything in, why not give it to the world and give it to our women and say, hey, you can do this too. You can step up too.
So if I recently have experienced a divorce or undergone a health problem, it's a pain for me. How do I take that, Angela, and turn it around and create a business or a ministry to help other people? How do I rebrand my life so that I could live instead of dying where I'm living? What steps do I take?
So the number one step is what I tell everybody, every client, is to, number one, breathe. Take a deep breath and just breathe. The next step is just to bring your emotions back in, because a lot of times our emotions are all over the place. Bring your emotions back in. Once you bring your emotions back in and you can contain those, then it's time to set a strategy and a plan. So let's see, what are you good at? What do you like helping? What do you like serving at? And then start to build your plan, your strategy from there to move forward. So it's definitely a plan. It's just you don't just start it overnight and say, hey, this is what I want to do. It's definitely a plan. It's definitely procedures that are in place for you to get exactly where you need to be within your business.
To have a plan, because without a plan, people fail. I get that. What I love to hear you talk more about is gathering that plan up, because if I'm in so much pain, I barely want to get up out the bed. Even though I want to start a business, I can't think, I can't concentrate, I can't focus. I don't even know what to do, like who to contact. What do I do? I got this plan, but I need help. What would you suggest as a life coach, as a law of attraction coach? How do I attract that which I need to start my business?
So you have to be positive, number one. You have to make sure that you speak positive affirmations every day, that you're not talking negative, that you're not allowing anyone else around you to be negative. But what's good is for you to get up. I know sometimes it's hard, and sometimes we want to stay right there in the bed or not get out the house and everything, but you have to pull yourself up. You have to motivate yourself. You have to get around people that are going to help you to also elevate. It's a lot of times we at least have one or two people around that will keep us accountable. And then if you're If you do not have anyone at all around, then yes, there are coaches that will keep you accountable for what you're doing. But you need someone that's going to say, hey, pull you up. But you have to be able also to just motivate yourself. You have to motivate yourself, but you have to start talking positive. And you have to, let's say if you're trying to get out the bed, you're going to have to say, okay, let's get out this bed. You're going to have to talk to yourself to get out that bed one step at a time, one leg, just get out the bed. And that's what you're going to have to do. And then just try to pull yourself together, because if not, you're going to get stuck. You're going to find yourself there weeks, months, and you're going to still be in the same position. You have to also remember, what is your why? What is the reason why I want to accomplish my goals? What is the reason why I need to get out of this bed? You have to think about the big picture and not think about what the current situation is. You also have to think about, just because I am here, there's somebody else that's going through something worse than you. So how can you also help someone else? Because you helping someone else can allow that situation to help you.
Okay, wait. You talked about like two powerful, life-changing strategies just now. So let's dive into each one of them quickly, because they're super powerful. They're life-giving. They're the strategies we need to rebrand our life and live. The first one, you said, you got to find someone. We have to find someone to help hold us accountable, meaning we can't do it by ourselves. You're a life coach. You're a accountability coach. You yourself, you're a law of attraction coach. Did you have a coach to help you as a coach?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've had coaches to help me, because they definitely, it's just like being in school. You know how our high school teachers, college professors, when homework was due, you didn't want to come to class and not have your homework and be embarrassed. So a coach makes you accountable. When you have those strategies that the coach is helping you, or you have that homework that you need to bring back, that makes you accountable for what you need to do. So that's just like having a teacher, having a professor, have a coach, because that way they keep you in line. They keep you working towards your goals and everything. So you definitely, if you cannot find anyone that's within your circle, definitely get a coach that will keep you accountable.
And that's so powerful, because especially as women, when we accomplish something, we feel good. And when we feel good, we do more of good. So as we do more, it gets easier and easier to do the business, fulfill the dream, and live the life. So accountability, I'm so glad you brought that to our attention. Write that down. Accountability. That's how we rebrand our life and live. Accountability. The other thing you mentioned that I want to have you speak to quickly, you said, girl, listen, I know you're going through something. We all are. But perhaps, maybe, someone else is going through something way more than you. And even if they're not, they're going through too. So what I heard you say is to take your eyes off of you. You told me to get my eyes off myself and look at someone else and do something for other people. I call that volunteering or serving. And that in itself is so life-giving. So speak to us quickly about how important it is, as we're rebranding our life, to volunteer and serve someone else.
Because when you're volunteering and you're serving someone else, that also helps you in return. Because if someone else is out there that's needing you, that's needing your service, it's something that you have within you that can help somebody else. So instead of us as women, sometimes we want to dwell on what we have going on. But if we just open our eyes and look that everybody has a story, someone that's sitting next to you may have someone that has cancer. Someone sitting across the room for you may be going through a divorce. It could be any number of things. Sometimes as women, we think that what we're going through is so bad at that moment. But if we look to our right or we look to our left, it's somebody else that's going through something totally that's worse than what you're going through. So a lot of times if we take that pain and we turn it into something positive and we go out there and we serve and we help other women, and then we also empower our women and we work together to pull each other up, imagine where we would be. Imagine how strong, imagine how healthy that we would be with helping others.
I say we stop imagining and we start rebranding our life and living. And it starts with giving our life away, serving someone else. Wow. Now, if you didn't write that down, you must be on your way to serve somebody. That's all I got to say about that. Angela, let's wrap up our conversation today as we help women understand it's not too late to rebrand their life, to get past the past, to avoid dying where they're living and living where they're dying. What words of encouragement would you like to leave with us today to help us rebrand our life and live after starting a business?
I will say words of encouragement for all the ladies that are listening today is that start now. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. That no matter what it is that you want to do, or if you don't even know what you want to do and you're trying to discover your purpose, just take that step forward. Just take that step. If it's something that you want to accomplish, write down your goals, write down your vision, and take the step. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting around. Stop saying, I'm going to do it after the kids go off to college. Stop saying, I'm going to do it after my husband gets his promotion. Stop saying, I'm going to do it when whatever is going on. You need to do it right now. Don't wait. Don't lose who you are in the process. Do it right now because too many years have gone by already. I want you to get up, get out, and make it happen. My motto is standing strong. When I was going through my divorce, when I was repositioning myself, I used to have an hour drive in my city, and I used to pray, and I used to have faith all the time. And God put it in my heart that my motto was standing strong. And he said, stand strong through no matter what you're going through. That on the other side of what you're going through right now is something that's so much greater. But you have to go through it because you have to get stronger than where you are right now. In order for you to be on that other side, you have to be stronger. And that's why you go through so many trials and so many tribulations, because you're only getting stronger. A lot of times we don't like to go through it. A lot of times it's uncomfortable for us, but we are so much stronger. I look back now and say, God, I'm glad you put me through all of that, because if not, I will not be where I am right now. So I say to all the ladies, I am giving you personally my motto to stand strong no matter what you're going through, to keep your faith, stay prayed up, and everything is going to be okay.
Ladies, you've been graced by Angela Denise as she shared with us success strategies and inspiration on how to rebrand our lives and live. Let's give it up for Miss Angela.
Do you have a strategy plan for your life? Is your plan outdated or collecting dust as life passes you by? It's time to stop winging it and contact Angela Denise your certified life coach. Angela is waiting to help you develop a strategic life plan to get your life back on track. Be the best you can be with strategies. Contact Angela today at www.askangeladenise.com.
Wow, we want to say thank you for joining us today for Rebrand Your Life and Live teleconference sponsored by Worldwide Women Speakers. You are an amazing audience. Thank you so much for being the most valuable part of Worldwide Women Speakers and our teleconference. Your being here, well, it makes a world of difference for us. We have more in store for you, but first, let's take a moment to soak in the inspiration that Angela has shared with us on how to rebrand our life and build a business. Take some time right now and write down the top 3 ways and the one step of faith and courage that you're willing to be bold about and take so that you can rebrand your life and live. Take some time now and soak in the success strategies that she shared with us. Losing a loved one is never easy. The pain, the guilt, the feelings that we have of emptiness, those feelings, author and speaker Jessaca Rowe knows those feelings all too well. We're going to continue having an amazing time of growing as we talk about rebranding our life to live. And I want to invite you to join me in welcoming Jessaca to the Worldwide Women Conference stage to share her story of rebranding her life, even after losing a loved one.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here to talk about rebranding our lives.
So let's just jump right into the conversation as we talk about rebranding your life after losing a loved one. What's your story, Jessica?
Well, I lost my best friend in 2016. She passed away from cancer, and just happened so quick. But she was my best friend and still is my best friend of 20 years. We had done everything together, high school, had our children, marriage, and, just having girl time, girl dates and things of that nature. And she was the one person that could always push me when I wanted to give up. She would always push me when I would say, nah, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work. She would always push me, and she is the one that I could go to for anything, even my crazy ideas. And at the time, what I thought probably was a crazy idea of starting a business. Who am I, a person to start a business and write a book and things of that nature? And she was like, no, you got this. You can do this. You can go ahead and start that business. Go ahead and write that book. And she was the one to help me get out of my comfort zone, because my comfort zone, which I still sort of have, but it was back at that time when we were just, girlfriends running and doing this and doing that, my comfort zone was deep, like really deep down into the couch comfort. And she was the one to help me get out of my comfort zone. So when she passed away, it was just devastating to me. It was like I couldn't go back and call her. I couldn't talk to her. I couldn't text her. We couldn't go out on our girls' night or have our girls' lunch or brunch. And it was just so devastating to me that I fell back in my comfort zone. I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I mean, I still functioned as I needed to in life, but things of extracurricular things and going out and hanging out, it just didn't seem right going anywhere knowing that she wouldn't be there. And so before she passed, and she still knew that I wanted to start the business, I wanted to write my book, she told me, she said, let the Spirit of God guide you. And after she passed and I was all in my feelings and didn't want to do anything, and which was probably maybe about almost a year later, I said, you know what, I got to get up. I got to get up. I got to get out. I got to start doing things. I got to get out of my comfort zone. This is what my friend would want me to do. She would want me to start doing the rebrand, a rebrand of something that I had lost when she passed. So I listened. She sent that to me in a text, and I still have that text message to this day. And any and every time that I feel like just sinking back deep down into my comfort zone and not doing anything, I go back to that text message that says, let the Spirit of God guide you. And that was one thing that helped me get on my feet, to help me push through, and knowing that my friend, though she may not be here in the present, she's here with me in spirit. And I feel her every day. I talk to her every day, asking her, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I always go back to that text message. Let the Spirit of God guide you. And that is how I just got back on my feet and began rebranding my life.
Thank you so much for sharing. I know even as you're talking, it's probably painful for you to share, and I can tell that you really made an impact for you in your life. Tell me, I'm not sure if I missed it. What's your friend's name? What was her name?
My friend's name is Denise Tanner.
Denise. All right. So in your journey with Denise, which you said you guys did so many things together, in losing her, what lessons did you learn from living with her, the life that you guys shared together? What did you learn? What was valuable for you, and what lesson would you like to share with us that could be valuable for us as we brand our life after losing a loved one as well?
The lesson that I learned from her was to press on. to push forward, to move through, no matter how you feel. Even though she was going through chemo and, all sorts of things with her illness of cancer, she still had a great spirit. She had high hopes. She had a wonderful spirit. I would visit her every time that she had to go back to the hospital for chemo, and her spirits were just bright. They were just up there. She was very involved in church. She was a praying woman. She prayed for people. She loved singing. She loved gospel music, and she just pressed on. So that was the lesson that I learned from her as she was going, through her illness. But even before then, she was always this just bright-spirited person. She loved being around her family, her friends, no matter what situations may have gone on within her family or within our friends or our friendship. She was always just pushing through, just pressing through no matter what. And really, too, about talking things out, not holding grudges, not holding things in, just talking it out and just expressing yourself and letting people know how you feel. So thinking back on those times that I had with her, other than, just, in the hospital, it was a lot that I would look back on that helped me push through, that helped me start rebranding my life and getting my spirits back and getting my hopes up and pushing forward and just continuing on and writing my book and start the process of building my business.
How can we apply those lessons to help us get back up and rebrand? You said some things that you've learned. How can we apply those lessons?
Just be open. Be honest, get out of your feelings. And that's what I had to do. I had to get out of my feelings about that situation or any other type of situation that I was going through. I had to get out of my feelings because when you consistently stay in your feelings about something and not talk it out and not be open and, just not get it off your chest, it hurts you. And you back in your comfort zone and you can't begin to rebuild. You can't begin to rebrand because you're harboring your feelings in, you're holding things in, you're not letting them out. We're not talking them out or talking them through to people. So I would suggest get a strong support system, somebody who is going to keep it 100% with you. And that's what I had to do. In lieu of her passing away, I still had to get out of my shell and find myself surrounded around other people, around other positive people. And I will admit and say that Facebook was the place that helped me just explore and get out there and start talking to people. So a support group is the best thing you can do. And I found that support group on Facebook. There's thousands of groups on Facebook that, find whatever it is, the situation that you're going through that you need help in rebranding and rebuilding your life. Type that in on the search field and on Facebook, and you'll find groups that can possibly help you through that. So I would say a strong support system. And, it doesn't have to necessarily be Facebook, but there are community centers, community events, just getting out and going and talking to people. And you just never know who you will come across. I heard a lady say we have more in common than we do different, and sometimes we fail to realize that. Just because you don't know that person or those people, that doesn't mean you don't have anything in common with them. And if you do, they may share their story. They may share what they've been going through that can help you and possibly turn a light bulb on and say, okay, I didn't think about it that way. It was good that I met you. It was good that I talked to you, and you may never talk to that person again, or you may get that person's contact information, but just opening yourself up and getting out there and speaking and talking to people, that is something, that's a tool that we can all use to help us start on the journey back to rebranding our lives.
So being open, and so I want to encourage everyone to be open, as Jessica shared. Go on Facebook, be a part of a community. Matter of fact, join our community at Worldwide Women Speakers right on Facebook. Our group is Girl, I'm working on it too, because you need to know, I need to know, we are not alone, and we can do this thing together. And this thing we're talking about today is rebranding. So rebranding is defined as the ability to refresh. And sometimes, Jessica, as women, we are just too tired, too overwhelmed with life to take time to refresh. So what is one step of success that you would recommend that we can take to hit the refresh button in life?
Write down your goals. Write them down. And not only just write them down, start taking action on those goals. There's so many of us, we write these goals down. We have these notebooks full of paper and things that we want to do, and we don't take action on them. Or we have them sitting up in our head and we don't take action on them. So just start writing those goals down and look at those goals and say, okay, which one of these can I do in the next month, the next 2 weeks, the next 6 months? Gigantic goal, because there's nothing wrong with thinking big and doing big, but sometimes you have to break that big thing down. It's just like if you had a big piece of candy, like those big hard suckers that you'll get like in the at the carnival. You have to break that down, that sucker down, to start enjoying it and start, making progress and eating on that piece of candy. So break those goals down, break them down into pieces, and see what you can do within a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And no goal is, too small. And celebrate your goals. Be happy about your goals. Even if it was just making a phone call to a place that you need to make a phone call to complete a part of that big goal. That's a win right there. Most people won't even do that. So just start getting your goals, writing them down, and start accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable for the things that, that we say that we're going to do. And again, go to somebody you love and trust, and maybe ask them to hold you accountable and say, look, sis, look, cousin, look, auntie, or look, neighbor, there's some goals that I've set. There are some goals that I want to take action on, and I'm asking you, can you help me hold myself accountable for them? Because, sometimes I may fall by the wayside, and I need somebody to check up on me. And that goes back to just being open, and speaking up and speaking out for yourself. No matter, even if you feel it may be silly, just go ahead and do it. You just never know where it's going to take you.
Set those goals, I hear you saying. And when we're talking about rebranding is never about shifting our purpose, ever. So sometimes we think if I'm rebranding, I got to change my purpose and who I am. Instead of being authentic, I got to be someone else. But rebranding is never about shifting our purpose. It may be creating a new look. It may be refreshing, but it's never about shifting the purpose. So what would you say we could do? What suggestions do you have, or how have you in the past rebranded your image but maintained your purpose?
This is a great question, because I had to stop sitting on the sidelines. There were things that I said I wanted to do, and there were courses and workshops and, programs and stuff that I was taking as it pertains to building my business. And I was just, I was doing this, I was doing that. I was talking to people about this. I was talking to people, I'm in this class. I paid this much for this class, so I'm doing it. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I had to take a step back and say, okay, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're taking these classes, you're taking these workshops, but what are you doing? what are you actually doing? Are you actually putting your foot in front of each other, and are you out there taking action on it? So I consider, as I look back at that, I looked at it as I was just sitting on the sidelines watching other people. I saw other people do things, but I myself, I was sitting on the sidelines, and I had to stop sitting on the sidelines. I had to get up and get out there and find my business coach. I just had to do that because I knew the business coach would take me places higher than I have been as it relates to building my business. So I had to say, okay, my purpose is still the same, but it's something that I have to do different to continue to get to the new level, get to the next level, and get to the level that I needed to be at. So I had to stop sitting on the sidelines and looking at other people and saying, wow, I want that to be me one day, but I got to take this class, I got to take that class, I got to go to this workshop, I got to do that, which is all in good, but I wasn't really taking the necessary action that I needed to take. So for me, it was getting a business coach to help me put all that stuff together, all those workshops and programs and webinars and everything that I had learned. It was time to get a business coach and sit down with that person one-on-one and have this person help me to put a system and strategy in place so I could begin to just build and rebuild and rebrand and do what it is that I needed to do.
And perhaps it was scary, but how did it make you feel?
It was very scary. It was very scary because all this time I'm sitting talking. I'm taking little action steps here and there, but now it's really time to put that foot forward. Now it's really time to step out there. Now it's really time to get all these systems and strategies and things in place, because as a part of goals, you set deadlines. So I had deadlines, which I had to meet. I had to do this by that date, do that by that date, versus me taking a class on that date and just having the information from that class and not really doing nothing with it. But even though it was a scary process, it was a necessary process. And that's a part of growing. That's a part of rebuilding yourself. That's a part of rebranding yourself, because you're growing. Rebrand means to do something new, something different, and make a change. And getting a business coach was my change. Getting a business coach was necessary for me.
What words of encouragement, Jessica, would you like to leave for us for those scary times we have to help us rebrand our life and live?
The words of encouragement that I want to leave with you all, and thank you all for being here, for participating, for listening in. This is a much-needed conversation. These types of conversations need to happen all the time, every day, as much as possible, so we can help women, and women can help other women and their children and people in their family learn how to rebrand and rebuild their lives and live. There's nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with it at all. We all fall down, but we can get up. And so the words of encouragement that I want to leave is get out of your feelings and get free. Those are my words of encouragement. That is something that I had to create, and I had to discover that you're too much in your feelings. That's why you're not where you want to be in your life.
Get out the way. It's time to rebrand your life and live.
Do you have a dream in your heart that you desire to see come to pass? Are you an aspiring entrepreneur? If so, then this is your season. Author and inspirational speaker Jessaca Rowe has made it her mission to help aspiring entrepreneurs turn their ideas into action by providing helpful strategies to achieve their goals of full-time entrepreneurs. If you're ready to break out of your shell and shine, let Jessaca Rowe help you discover a new level mindset. Contact Jessica at 877-235-0373, extension 913.
Perhaps this is a tough season for you. You know, sometimes when we lose something or someone valuable to the eye, we learn to treasure those things that are valuable to the heart. There's nothing like learning a lesson and being able to rebrand our life. If you've lost a loved one recently or at all, you are not alone. Yes, it's painful. I recently lost my dad, so I have empathy for what you're going through. God, however, has not intended for this to be the end of the journey. There are people who desire, who are capable, who are qualified to walk with you during the journey. Here at Worldwide Women Speakers, we are honored to walk with you and to remind you that you're not alone. This is just the beginning of the great things that God has in store for you. So thank you for joining us today. You are an amazing audience. You are the most valuable part of Worldwide Women Speakers and the Worldwide Women Speakers Conferences. Thank you for being here. Your being here makes a world of difference. We want to invite you to remember to share your takeaways from your notes that you've taken, the information that causes transformation that Jessica has shared with us to bring hope and possibility into the midst of what seemingly is a hopeless situation. Don't forget to share. Share with someone else, and please share with us. And remember to claim your free ebook. It's waiting for you as a result of you sharing what you've learned today. We have been totally blessed by you being here today. Thank you so much for your courage that brought you here, kept you here, and will keep you connected to our heart.
Worldwide Women Speakers. We coach, speak, and train on purpose. Connect with us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com.
We'll be right back after this.
Have the cares of this life seemingly choked the life out of you? Are you wanting or needing to start over after being hit hard in life? If so, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver, wants you to know that you are not alone and help is here. This is your season, and it's time for you to get up, get dressed, and show up. The good news is, you do not have to do it alone. Like you, RJ Jackson knows what it's like to have been knocked down over and over again. And RJ believes that life is not about how many times we get knocked down, but how many times we get back up. Reach out to RJ today at 1-877-235-0307, extension 909. She is waiting to encourage your heart and help lift you up.
And we want to say welcome to the Worldwide Women Speakers teleconference, Rebrand Your Life and Live. I'm your host, RJ Jackson, the Courage Giver, excited about this opportunity to speak life into your life.
Whether you are looking to encourage, educate, inspire, or motivate, hiring a Worldwide Women Speaker is the perfect way to wow your audience. With such a wide range of talented speakers to choose from, finding the right person can be a bit challenging. That's why we are here to help you. We have the right speaker for your conference, training, and women's event. Contact us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com. That's www.worldwidewomenspeakers.com.
Rebrand your life and live, L-I-V-E. Do you know it's estimated that in the United States alone, 16 million adults have had at least one major depression episode? 350,000 people altogether suffer from depression. And out of that 350,000, 104,000 are women. Now, although there are a variety of treatments and plans for curing depression, including medication, researchers say that the most essential part of the depression treatment is a lifestyle change. We have a word for that. It's called a rebranding. Today we're going to hear from and be inspired by the authenticity of one of our very own worldwide women speakers and inspirational leaders, author, speaker, and survivor, Denise Chandler. She is going to share with us how to rebrand our life and live after depression. Denise, we are looking forward to you sharing your story with us today, so we welcome you to the Worldwide Women Speakers stage.
Thank you, and thank you, everybody, for having me. Thank you.
All right, so we're honored to partner with the greatest audience ever. So if you don't have your pen and paper ready, we're going to just tell you right now, you're going to want to have it because you are going to want to take notes on how you can rebrand your life and live. Now, Venus, you know the statistics, and like many of us, you yourself are a part of the statistics. So share with us, if you will, your journey of depression as we talk about rebranding your life after depression.
Well, I suffered from depression for many, many, many years, especially by me being a survivor of childhood trauma. I went through a lot. There were many, many times I couldn't get out of the bed. There were many times that I just sat in the dark, cried a lot. There was many times that I wanted to take my own life.
And so tell us how you got from that point to pretty much where you are. Just walk us through the journey, if you will.
Okay. Well, there was a few times that I had said, I'm done with life. I just can't go on. This is too much for me. I wrote my letters. I said I'm checking out, and, through the grace of God, He had me to speak. God had me to speak to one of my coworkers. I told my coworker about about my plans to, in my life, because the depression was so real. And thank God I did talk to her. I ended up talking to her and going to church with her. And church for me is what helped keep me alive for that moment. It's what helped keep me alive for that moment. Throughout that time, I started meeting people, surrounding myself with people who were great people, who loved life, who was able to show me how to maneuver in life. And it became easier and easier.
And so church became a part of your rebranding, because rebranding is defined as changing your image. And your image, from what I hear you saying, was hopeless.
It was hopeless.
It was hopeless. That's what I hear you saying.
Yes.
So you had to change that image, and perhaps people saw you the way they saw you. They felt the way they felt about you, and they said, oh, that's just Venus. Oh, she just this. She just that. I remember when she was this, and now all of a sudden she in the church. Talk to us, if you will, and tell us what success strategies can you share and tell us about changing our image when others might see us the way they've always seen us?
Well, for one, there's going to be people who's going to always see you for who you used to be. I still have those people, and that's okay. The only difference is between then and now is that I don't surround myself with those people. What I do is I surround myself with people who are going to reach back and pull me up, who's going to cheer me on, who's going to push me to be my greatest, who's going to always remind me of my greatness and remind me that I have so much to offer the world. I believe that for myself as well. It was the practice that I had to do every single day. And what I called it at first, faking it until you make it. And what I mean by that is that we're so used to telling ourselves all this negative stuff when what I did is I started telling myself all these positive things because I had people around me who was telling me all these positive things. So that helped me. That helped me push forward.
So you actually did a rebranding and a reshifting, moving. So you didn't just change your image, you changed your environment and the people that you're around. Let's talk about that, because for so many people who are experiencing depression, getting out of the bed is just hard enough. And so to have anybody around is a good thing sometimes. And so, you know, some people say, like, for example, half a man is better than no man. So how do we move from that mentality that says, I'll settle for a half a man, or I'll settle for people who are negative? How do we move?
Well, just like I've been saying, you have to. This is very, very important, that you find someone that isn't going to allow you to just stay there, to stay behind. Find someone that is actually doing better than you, doing the things that you want to do or that you see yourself doing, and somebody that is going to reach back and pull you up. Somebody that's going to demand that you try to reach their level instead of them coming down to reach you on your level. Somebody that's going to remind you every day that today is not the day to give up. You have to surround yourself with those type of people. It's pertinent.
So it's like starting with one person at a time. And that's
absolutely
what it is, like just shifting. It's moving. Mm-hmm. However, sometimes we get rebranding a little confused. So rebranding is about shifting, but it's never about shifting our purpose. So tell us how you changed your image and still maintained your purpose in life.
Well, what I did is I started educating myself. I started going to lots of conferences that I wanted to be able to really learn about how to get my message out, how to talk to people, how to help people to understand that you don't have to die where you are. You don't have to. It was a pretty long journey, I gotta say, and I'm still on that journey learning. But that's what I do. I make sure that I educate myself every single day, every day. And when it comes to rebranding, I say, without changing your purpose, it's changing everything else about you. Everything. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you greet people, the way that you even talk to yourself.
Give us an example.
Well, I know that I used to wake up every morning and say, I hate going to work. This is such a bad day. Oh, why is it Monday? Now what I say is, hey, it's Monday. I made it a whole nother week. Whoop, whoop. You know, I celebrate that. I celebrate every day that I'm able to get out of that bed and I'm able to go out here and put my message out there and help somebody. That's what I mean by rebranding. You have to see every day as a brand new day, as a brand new opportunity, and be so thankful and grateful that God allows you to wake up and to be able to even operate in that purpose that he gave you. That's part of rebranding.
So let's have a conversation with the sister that's listening right now, that she's suffering from depression, really wants to press through, but she doesn't know what to do. Talk to her. Talk to her.
Sister, listen. And we're all sisters here, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're all women. You reach out and you find somebody to tell that you don't feel good, that you need help. You could be embarrassed later, but you tell somebody right now I need help. Where do I go? How can I be helped? I'm not feeling well. This is what I'm feeling. And trust me, there is somebody who's going to listen. There's someone.
And you can start right here because we are that someone. Here at Worldwide Women Speakers, we are here to remind you you don't have to live where you're dying, and you certainly don't have to die where you're living. And while you're walking, taking one step at a time, we're here to walk with you. Denise, as you talk about rebranding, and thank you for those words of encouragement and inspiration to remind someone that their life matters and someone else cares. And as you talk about rebranding and purpose, tell me, did you know your purpose before you really got into the bouts of depression, or did you discover your purpose once you came out? And how do women who are like on the fence, they're not sure what their purpose is, how do they discover their purpose?
Well, for me, it was a little different. I'm 51 years old, and the end of 2016, first of all, I had went through a really bad divorce, and I was really, really depressed, and I really didn't want to live anymore. And thank God, he came through and delivered me from that. But right after that, he dropped that purpose right in my lap. But what's so crazy about it, my purpose had been there the entire time. What I believe is that God will not open your eyes and reveal your purpose to you no sooner than he think that you are ready for it. I was not ready. Had he dropped my purpose in my lap in 2015, I would have been ready. But, of course, that's not how God works. But I would not have been ready. I can't really say for sure how do you go about. What I do believe is whatever that burning passion is in your stomach, whatever that is that keep you awake at night, whatever that is that will cause you not to be able to rest and you keep thinking about it, I really believe that's your purpose, because I can remember days that I kept thinking about my purpose.
Okay, now I love how you answered and said, I can't tell you exactly, because too often people try to act like they know all the answers. And nobody knows all the answers, right?
Right.
And as you were sharing it, I could honestly hear someone saying, oh, that thing that keeps me up at night, that thing that's on my mind constantly, those are my problems. That's why I'm depressed. How do they make that shift from those are my problems to this is my purpose? How do they make that shift?
Well, the way that I made that shift, because you're right. And I've always thought that those were my problems. But God delivered me through all of those problems and showed me how to get through all of those problems only because this is how I put it. I really believe what God did for me all these years is he sent me through a boot camp. How was I going to be able to minister to the next woman and say, you don't have to die where you are? How was I going to be able to tell her that straight from the heart and make her believe it if I've never been there myself? I knocked on hell's door at one time in my life because I was all the way gone. And God allowed me to come back. I'm back. So I'm able to go and minister to a woman and tell her that, listen, let me tell you about depression. It isn't real. I mean, it is real, don't get me wrong, but you can overcome that. You can overcome that, and I can help you through it. But I really believe that's what God did. He sent me to a boot camp to get me ready for this.
So I don't know if right now I should be saying preach, if I should say let's take an offering, or if I should say won't he do it, but I'm just going to say won't he do it. Venus, words of encouragement. You've inspired our hearts. You've shared with us authentically. What words of encouragement would you like to leave with us to help us rebrand our life and live, especially after depression?
Ladies, listen, we are all strength in numbers. Together, I'm telling you, We could do anything we want to. That's why it's so important to build sisterhood. So that way you're able to reach out to that person and tell that person, I'm not feeling good. Now, let me tell you, I've been through my depression. Well, who knows? I may go through again. But this time, I know exactly what to do. I'm going to reach out to one of my girls, and I'm going to be like, hey, girl, I need to talk to you. I'm not feeling good today. We need to talk. And that's what's so important. And just know this. You are not your past, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You can start from right now, today. And if you need help with that, trust me, we're here for that. We're here for that. We want to show you the way, too. We want you to see on the other side of the mountain how great it is. It's great.
You are not defined by your past. You are prepared by your past. Wow, Venus. Good stuff, girl. Good stuff.
Have you been victimized or traumatized? Do you wish someone would hear your silent scream, understand your story, or know your truth? Venus Chandler, survivor, author, and motivational speaker, hears, understands, and knows the truth about being victimized and traumatized. She has dedicated the rest of her life to helping women like you to find their voice and rediscover their hope, strength, courage, and their power within. If you are ready to regain your voice, connect with Venus today at www.venuschandler.com or info@venuschandler.com. Purchase Venus's book, A Silent Scream, My Story, My Truth, on Amazon, or contact her via email for a personal signed copy. Let your silent scream be heard.
You are not defined by your past. You are prepared by your past. Wow, Venus. Good stuff, girl. Good stuff. Whew. Okay, so I know you took lots of notes, and hopefully you took those notes on your heart, and you are reminded of who you are. And as Venus just shared with us, you are not your past. Sisterhood is what she talked about. Knowing that you don't have to walk alone. We are here just for you. Whatever you're going through, you don't have to do it by yourself, girl. Listen, we got your back. We got you covered. The question is, are you going to have the courage to reach out and let us touch your heart? We're here waiting, and we're waiting just for you. Thank you so much for being here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take some time to allow you to just bask in the beauty of knowing that you're not your past and you're not alone. That there are women who want to walk with you, who care for you, and want to see you be all that God has created you to be. Your being here, it really makes a world of difference for us. We have more in store for you. Let's take a few moments to soak in the inspiration Venus shared with us. Be sure to write down your top 3 takeaways. The one thing you're going to do because you're bold, you're brave, and you're beautiful. It's time to rebrand your life and live.
Worldwide Women Speakers. We coach, speak, and train on purpose. Connect with us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com.
Thank you once again for staying with us, for joining us, if you're just joining us, for Worldwide Women Speakers Conference, Rebrand Your Life and Live, sponsored by Worldwide Women Speakers of worldwidewomenspeakers.com. It's true, life happens. And when it does, especially when it takes us by surprise or hits us hard, there are moments when we feel like rolling up into a ball and just simply rolling away somewhere to die. Have you ever felt like that? Well, for many of us, this feeling is so real. Perhaps you felt like that at one time or another, or perhaps you're feeling like that right now. Maybe you don't want to feel that way. Maybe you want to know there's hope. You really want to live and you want your life to be full. But the pain is so excruciating that you feel like it's just easier to lay there and die. Well, our inspirational leader, Athena Blue, has joined us today to infuse us with an energy boost so that we don't have to roll up our pain, but we can rebrand our life and live. Join me, please, in welcoming to the stage author, speaker, and mindset maven, Athena Blue. Athena, thanks for being with us.
It is wonderful to be here to share with all of my sisters out here who have signed on to listen to us. I do appreciate it, and I pray that what I share today with you will touch you in some way and inspire you to rebrand your life and live.
And that's exactly what it's time to do, rebrand your life and live. Now, Athena, I understand that there was a time in your life where life hit you hard and you found yourself having to rebrand your life and live. And I'd love to talk with you and hear your story about how you rebranded your life after losing yourself in a marriage and then losing your spouse. What's your story?
You know, many people, or let's say many women, because we're talking to my sister here, when we get married, you know, we have so many hopes and dreams and aspirations of what it's going to be like and what we're going to be like and everything. But as we go along throughout the years, we find ourselves lost. We find ourselves changed. We're no longer that person that entered the marriage. We find ourselves a wife. We find ourselves a mother, become known as Mr. or Mrs. Blue or Derry and Brianna's mom to the community. We kind of play all these different roles, and we kind of forget who we actually started out to be. And I don't know if anybody else has figured or has felt that, but I felt that way over the years. It didn't happen all at once. It just kind of happened gradually until all of a sudden you find yourself feeling despondent and a little depressed, and you don't really quite know why until you kind of figure out I'm everybody else except me. And that's what I kind of felt like in my marriage, that I was now somebody else. I was Mrs. Ray Blue. I was Derry, Brianna, Joshua's, and all the other children's mom. I was a Christian wife. I had to play a role of being the Christian wife. Had to dress a certain way, act a certain way, look a certain way. And all of this was, you know, a role I was playing, and it really wasn't me. And I kind of got depressed after a while because I didn't feel like I was myself. I didn't feel like I was free to be myself. I knew who I was before I got married. I had hopes and dreams of what I wanted to do. But as what many women do when they get married, they kind of put those aside, take on the role of wife and mother. And we're excited to do so, and we love what we're doing. But we kind of lose ourselves in a marriage. And I don't think it should have to be that way. But, many women find themselves in that position, and we don't really know how we got there, but we know that something's wrong, you don't feel right, you don't know why you're not quite happy, but I think it's because you've lost connection with yourself. And once we do that, we become despondent and depressed, and we may lose our zest for life. And that's where I found myself. After my husband died, I had to figure out again who I was, because I was no longer Mrs. Ray Blue. All my children were grown and gone. And I know this may sound a little weird, but I did feel a small sense of freedom, because now I didn't have anything attached to me. I felt a sense of freedom, but I also felt a sense of loss. And I had to come to grips with what that was and what that meant. And then throughout my grief process, I realized that I had lost connection with me. And so once I found that connection with me again, I began to come out of it and started having hopes and dreams of what I wanted to do again to help rebrand me, and from being a widow, because I really hate that term, widow, into being a survivor, of which I am. I am a survivor, and I'm not a widow. So who am I now? I am Athena Blue, survivor, and I'm still a mother, and I love my life now. Not that I didn't love before, I just love rediscovering me. And that's what my rebranding journey has taught me, to rediscover me and to learn to love me again.
What are some of the dreams that you had before you got married that you found yourself either trying to figure out where they went or putting on the shelf for later?
Well, when I met my husband, I was in nursing school. My plan was to become a physician's assistant, and then to go on and possibly maybe become an MD. But once I, met him and we fell in love and got married, and he was in the military, he was an officer in the military who was going to be traveling all around, that kind of went by the wayside. Because if I was going to be with him, I had to follow him and go with him, which is what I wanted to do. But, stay and go to school, become a PA, or, go with my husband who had just got married and follow him. If most women do like I did, and I decided to follow my husband. So that was one of my dreams of what I wanted to do. My eventual goal was to actually become a doctor, because I didn't know how, going straight to medical school. I said, let me do the nursing thing first, then PA, and then on to medical school if that's what I felt I could handle. I want to just take it one step at a time. And a lot of women, just like me, they kind of lose track of that or put that aside in favor of the new life with their husband.
So you had a dream. You knew you were in love. You wanted to do what wives do, follow their husbands, be with their husbands, live their dream. So you put your dream pretty much on the side, on the back burner,
yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's kind of what is expected as a woman and as a wife, with the man being head of the household. I've heard said, even by some ministers, that, the wife's supposed to, follow her husband wherever he goes. And so that was kind of like my expectation, and that's the role I kind of fell into, because as a woman and a Christian woman, that's kind of what you're expected to do.
So as that relates to rebranding, that expectation and then trying to figure it out again, when we talk about rebranding is adding insight. So what insight would you say that you gained from your experience, and what insight or lessons can we learn from your story and your experience of losing yourself in your marriage?
One of the things I learned, and if I had learned it, if I knew it or kept it in my head back then, I would not have lost myself. Don't lose who you are, because when you met your husband, he fell in love with the you that he met then. He fell in love with me, the me who I was then. And then as I got married, I started changing, into what I thought his expectation was for me, was what my religious views and doctrines said a Christian wife's supposed to be. And you get to become or play a role that you may or may not fit really good into. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but one shouldn't lose themselves because of it. I mean, when you're one type of person and he loves you for that, and then as you're in the marriage over the years, he starts saying, I don't want you wearing that because I don't want anyone looking at you, or I don't like that, so we're going to do this, or, your taste, your preferences all start changing to fit that of your husband's. And after a while, you seem to become his mini-me. Not that he's being mean or cruel to you. It's just that, most men think that they're the head of the household, and then the women is like the second in command or their supporter, and, everything almost kind of like revolves around the man in the household, with the woman making sure everything happens the way it's supposed to happen for the dad or the husband. And we can lose ourselves because we can lose our voice. My children said, now, Mom, we never heard from you too much because Dad always, told us what to do, and you just backed him up. And that can happen in a lot of marriages. Not that I didn't have any opinions. I told my husband's opinions, or after, aside from in front of the kids, because I didn't want there ever be a conflict between him and me in front of them. But they never thought I had much of a voice until after my husband passed away. So rebranding for me right now is finding my own voice, being able to stand up for what I want, know what I want, and be able to go and do what I want right now.
As a woman who perhaps feel herself in your story, and we all have a story, sometimes we literally get stuck in the middle of our story. And instead of taking those steps to rebrand ourselves, to find ourselves, it's like we continue to reread the chapter. Like, chapter 2, I'm going to reread it because I'm comfortable with it. I know what's happening with it, what's happened with it over the last 20 years. What's one step, Athena, that we can take to rebrand, to give a new name to our past pain and live our best life right now?
Well, a step that they can take, but I'm going to tell you this, they won't take that step until they realize they need to take the step. As you said, they keep reading that chapter over because they're comfortable with it. As long as they're comfortable, they won't make a change. But when that, say, looping cycle gets to be uncomfortable, then they'll be ready to make a change. And one thing they can do, just like I did, when I became uncomfortable with it, I started to have a talk with my husband and stand up for what I felt was right for me, and making him aware of how I felt. Because many times our husbands aren't aware of how we feel. Now, we're aware of how they feel, but many times men are not aware of what's going on in their wife's mind. And we don't say anything, they won't know. So if you get uncomfortable being in that looping cycle, rereading that chapter over and over again, the first step you can take is to speak up and have a chat with your husband and let him know how you feel.
And before we can let him know how we feel, we got to know how we feel ourselves, right?
Absolutely. You have to get that connection back with you, yourself, to know what it is you want and know what it is you want to do. If you know what you want and you know what you want to do, you can sit down and have a chat with your husband and let him know how you feel. And that's what I did. In fact, I started to do that before my husband passed away. And I'm going to tell you, it was a little scary. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, but I held my ground. I held my gaze, and I didn't back down. And once I did that, once I took that first step and got that first small victory, other steps will come.
So it was scary. You had to use your courage. You first figured out, well, what is it that I do want? And then you shared with him. So how did you share with him and still respect and honor him? Because that's so totally important.
Okay, well, let me give an example, if I might. I was 40 years old. Up until then, I had worn my hair the way he wanted me to since we've been married, which is long and, relaxed. Over the years, I'm getting tired of doing that. I take care of my hair. I have to comb it. I have to wash it. I have to brush it. I have to roll it. Every morning I'm getting up, blow drying or rolling and doing it. I'm just getting tired of it. I want something different. But if I know my husband the way I did, I knew he would not want me to cut my hair. So I made the decision to cut my hair without asking him for permission. So I went and did it. I got it cut in a nice, short little bob. I thought it was nice. People around me thought it was nice. And when I get home, I get the look. I knew he disapproved. But I didn't care. I was 40 years old. I figured it's high time I started making a decision for myself. So I sat him down. In fact, we went out to eat. And he just kept looking at me with almost a disapproving look. And I said, look, husband, I love you from the bottom of my heart. I said, but I'm a 40-year-old woman. I should be able to make decisions for myself regarding my hair. And he said, that's our hair. I said, no, it's my hair. I said, I take care of it. I wash it. I shampoo it. I go get it fixed. All you do is look at it. I said, I take care of your hair more than you take care of mine because I cut his hair every 2 weeks. And he just looked at me, and I looked at him. And he says, I don't like it. And I looked and smiled and said, yes, I know, but I don't care. And, after a while, he just says, and we kept eating, and he got over it after 3 days. But I had to stand my ground. I was 40 years old, and I couldn't wear my hair the way I wanted to. I just felt something's wrong with this picture. And so I decided to take a step and did it, took my courage, and I won my first victory.
You took a step and rebranded yourself in the midst of the marriage.
Yes.
And that took lots of courage. What words of encouragement would you share with us today? Because you not only took a step and rebranded yourself in the midst of the marriage, you also, unfortunately, and our condolences to you, you lost your husband. So you had to rebrand yourself again. after losing your husband. So what words of encouragement would you leave with us to help us rebrand our life and live, especially for those women who are rebranding themselves after losing themselves in a marriage and then losing their husband?
Well, the first thing I would say that a good quote that I come across that just fits this whole thing is to find yourself, think for yourself. And that's a quote that was put out by Socrates many, many, many hundreds of years ago. But that is so relevant for today. To find yourself, think for yourself. When you become married, don't stop thinking for yourself. Don't let your husband do all the thinking. You can think for yourself. And if something's not right, you can agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing that says that two people who live together have to agree on everything or have to see everything the same way. No two people do that, not even identical twins. So to find yourself and to keep yourself, keep thinking for yourself, whether you're married, whether you're divorced, or whatever. To know yourself, you have to get in touch with yourself and stay connected and to think for yourself.
Athena Blue, you are a survivor. Thank you for reminding us that there is life after life happens. Thank you for reminding us that we can rebrand our life even after losing ourselves in a marriage and losing a spouse. If you are inspired by Athena, then we invite you to take action. Renew your vow, the vow to yourself. Rediscover the you God created. It's time to rebrand yourself and live.
Ladies, do you feel older, drained, and frazzled with no energy left at the end of the day? For years, Athena Blue struggled with these very same issues. Through her own healing journey, she discovered healthy ways to not only look and feel younger, but regained her zest for life. Schedule your free Energy Boost session with Athena right now and learn the #1 thing you can do now to turn your life around. Call Athena today at 877-235-0373. Again, that's 877-235-0373. Extension 907.
Wow. It's like really hard to believe that we've been talking about rebranding your life and living when all the stories you've heard today at some point or another have pointed to death. Oh, wait. Rebranding your life after death. It's about starting over. It's about starting when you feel like dying inside. Rebranding your life is about watering the seeds of hope in the garden of hopelessness. Rebranding is about pulling up the weeds of fear and doubt and guilt and shame, those things that are choking the life out of us. I say we keep pulling up the weeds. With that in mind, our next speaker, specialist, empowerment specialist, Sharon Marie, is going to talk to us about rebranding your life after divorce. You know, they say divorce is like a death because it kills the relationships around you. It kills the relationships in the children and the family, with your friends. So yes, rebranding is life after death. Sharon, we're so glad to have you here empowering us today, reminding us that even after the toughest situations, such as divorce, we can still live.
Hello, everyone. How are you today? I am so blessed and honored to be able to come here and to share with you all how to rebrand your life after divorce. And woo, are we going to have a good talk.
You know what, Sharon, thank you so much for your courage to share, because for most people, divorce brings on shame and guilt. So rebranding is not even an option for most people. They just die right there after divorce. So please tell us your story. What was your journey like going through divorce and after divorce?
Wow. Okay. So going through divorce had to be the hardest thing at that time that I ever had to experience. It was harder than the death of a family member. It was the death of the life that I knew. I had been with this person for 24 years. That's my entire adult life at that time, or so I thought. And to lose everything that you created, that you work for, of course it's a death, because it's gone. It wasn't coming back. And that feeling of failure, that feeling of, I can't believe this is happening, did I do something wrong? Was it my fault? And how am I going to protect my children? And all these questions that are all natural came to me, and I had to be still. And during that moment of calm and madness, because it was a calm madness, the storm that I was going through in my mind, in my heart, I just had to stop, and I had to look around and say, whew, this is really bad. This cuts like a knife. But I was given the wake-up call. Every day God said, hey, I'm going to wake you up today. Yes, it hurts today, but tomorrow it's going to hurt a little bit less. And I'm going to show you your purpose. I'm going to show you that you can still have a life after the death, after this sadness, after divorce. And to rebrand myself after it was the most beautiful thing that I got to encounter, because a lot of us, as I said, we forget who we are as women. We forget. I didn't know who I was. I was so frightened. I would look in the mirror and I'm no longer a wife. I am Sharon. Who is Sharon? I didn't remember what I liked to do because I did what they wanted to do. I didn't remember how to do things because I did what he wanted to do, or we compromised. And now I had to do for me, and I had to do for my children. So that experience was incredibly eye-opening and incredibly humbling. After divorce, I did it. I rebranded myself. I became the best version of myself because I had no choice. And that's what rebranding after divorce did for me, everybody. That's just where I came from right now.
So when we talk about rebranding is defined as a change in design. And you talked about you had to change from being a wife to being Sharon. Like, who is Sharon? So you had a change in design. So how did that experience change your life? What did you learn from it? And what words of wisdom would you like to leave with us that we can learn from your lesson?
Oh, love it. So everybody, that experience for me was, as I said, it was so empowering because it forced me to have to look at myself. I didn't have anybody else to hide behind. I didn't have anybody else to say, hey, I had to redesign Sharon. I had to reshape myself emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And it was beautiful because I forgot who I was. And then to see it come to pass, but now as an adult version and to grow into what I am now and the person that I am, it was beautiful. And from it all, I was able to learn that this too shall pass. That storm was big. That storm was huge. I lost friends. I lost family members. I lost a lot of people during that process. But the people that I have received and gained and who have helped and led me and empowered me, I was able to see that, you know what? I can recover and I can become an even better me. And the wisdom and the words that I would share with everybody is, don't give up. Honestly, this too shall pass. If you have faith in God, you have faith in God. You cannot fear and have faith in God, because fear and faith cannot live in the same place. I let go all of that fear, and I said, God, here, I know the battle has already been won. The victory is mine. Take it. I can't carry this burden. It's all yours. I got other things I need to do. I need to grow as Sharon. I need to figure me out. Here, I'm going to give that to you to deal with. I don't got time right now. You know what I mean? And that lesson was that if I am going to have faith, I have to have faith. And I had to surround myself with people who had the same faith so that I would continue to believe. And then here I stand, stronger and more empowered than I've ever been when I was married with someone who used to encourage me. I stand stronger as Sharon Ann Marie today than I would have ever. So this too shall pass. Keep fighting and don't quit. Those are the words I got for everyone. I hope it works for y'all.
You know, I love your joy that you share with us as women, even after a difficult time. Let me ask you for just a moment to go back in the midst of the journey. What was that like? What was your emotion then? Did you have joy in the midst of it? Did you have shame, guilt? What was your emotion during that time, and how did you actually deal with it in the midst of the journey?
Beautiful question. Initially, I was so ashamed. We were labeled the family. Everyone knew us. We had the barbecues and the birthday parties and the games. So for it to end, everyone was kind of like, well, what did you do, Sharon? And I went through that guilt of, oh, did I not work hard enough? Did I not do what I should have done? And how could I have been a better wife? And it was hard. I was flat. I'm not telling anybody. I skipped and danced through it. I was on my face. I lost my house. Of course, I lost my ex-husband. I lost family members. I lost everything that I had held on to and believed was my life. I lost it all. But it was in that where I had to go through that loss. God was trying to show me that, yes, this is hard, and yes, it hurts, and yes, you're going to cry. But with every day that you get up, you put that one foot in front of each other, and the emotion was intense. And I used to look at myself and say, it could be worse. I could be worse off. I could not have a job. I was thankful I had a job. I got to wake up and hug my children every day and kiss them and tell them I love them. Some people lose their children. So in the midst of it, I was able to find small pieces of joy. Waking up was so joyful, because sometimes the night before the pain was so intense I thought I was going to die. But I woke up the next day and I said, I hear you, God. I hear you. Okay. I'm going to get up. I'm going to comb my hair and I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to take in nature. And one day at a time. Some days I was really good, and then 4 or 5 days I really was not. But I kept moving forward, and I kept trying to find the little pieces of joy. And the day that God called me and woke me up and said, hey, that alarm went off and you heard it, get up. I got up. That was my emotion, those little pieces of joy. And then every day, everyone, it just got better. It just really did. It just got better. And now I stand looking back like, what? You made it through that, girl? Amen. You did it. So can you all. All of you can do it. Believe me, you can.
So here you stand, authentically true to who you are, rebranded after divorce, encouraging us and reminding us as women we can make it too. And for the one woman, there are hundreds of women listening right now. But for the one woman who is in the midst of the pain right now, you said, I hear you, Lord, and she's saying, I don't hear nothing. She's probably saying, God, where are you? But she's listening right now.
Yes.
Speak to her heart. Share something with her right now. just to remind her she's not alone. Whatever you want to tell her, speak to her heart right now for me.
My beautiful queen, my beautiful, beautiful queen, you are in the midst of the darkest of your days, but there is light. Get on your knees and release it. If you need to cry, cry. Surround yourself and let go of that guilt and that fear, and surround yourself with people you know who truly love you, because there are people who love you, but we don't allow them in because we allow guilt and shame and fear to hide us and to covet us. It doesn't protect us. It covers us, and it keeps us still. Release it, my queen. Release it. Give it to God. Surround yourself. Look in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. I am hurting, but I can get past this because I am a child of God. Look in that mirror and believe what is in that mirror has a purpose, and what's in that mirror has a passion that is deep. And when you start to reflect on yourself, rather than all of the madness, you will build strength. Look at all the wonderful things that you've done before this pain. What did you do? Find one thing you are and work at it and look at it and keep reminding yourself you're beautiful, and release all of that negativity, because this too shall pass. I promise. You keep fighting, you keep praying, and you believe in you, not what other people think, in you, and this too shall pass.
Wow. That requires, that look in the mirror, that requires a risk.
100%.
And rebranding is about a change in design. It's about taking a risk. It's about being uncomfortable. It requires a step of faith and a step of courage. So in order to look in the mirror,
right,
women have to take a step.
Yes.
So what's one step you would suggest they take in order to rebrand their life and live and allow God to use their story for his glory, and they can live their best life ever? One step.
For me, everyone, it was writing out how I felt. It was releasing and journaling. I couldn't look in the mirror because I didn't like what I saw, because I didn't know who I was looking at, and that was shameful. But the courage I took was to write everything about what was happening. I wrote how phenomenal I am. I wrote all the things I'd love to do. I wrote how great I was. I just released it. You have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable, and to look yourself, whether it's on paper, whether it's in the mirror, release. Let everything go and just read it. It's happening. It's real. Whether you like how it looks or not, it takes courage to acknowledge that it's there. You can do it. Just write everything out. If you're brave enough, look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are beautiful. You are phenomenal. Take the risk to look yourself in your eyes and talk to you how you would talk to your girlfriends, how you would encourage your girlfriend. Talk to yourself. Empower yourself. Let it go. Just let it go.
That's a powerful step in the right direction to rebrand yourself and live. And I want to remind you, as you're listening, there's greatness inside of you. You are not your circumstance. You are not what you've gone through. You are not what has happened to you. There's greatness inside of you. There is greatness inside of you. And the world awaits your greatness. Take that step. And as you're taking that step, Sharon is going to share with you words of encouragement to help you continue to put one foot in front of the other, to help rebrand your life and live, even after divorce. Sharon, what words of encouragement would you like to leave with us today?
Everyone, I am so honored and blessed that you allowed me to come and share my story and to give you some words of wisdom. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but, you know, when I was going through the darkest of my time, I had come across this quote, and it said, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." That quote was so powerful for me because it told me I didn't have to run a marathon. I didn't have to run a race. I just had to take that one step. And then that one step got me one step closer to where I wanted to be, which is just to be a better me, which was to be a rebranded me, which is to be a beautiful me. So I leave you with that quote again. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. Ladies, you've got it. Take that step. And until we meet again, stay blessed.
Sharon encouraged us to take a step. She also encouraged us to let go. And we know one of the hardest lessons in life is letting go. Whether it's guilt, anger, loss, betrayal, or love. Change is never easy. We fight to hold on, and we fight to let go. It is time to stop fighting. It's time to create a change in the design of your day. It's time, my sister, to rebrand your life and live.
When was the last time that you have been at the top of your to-do list? How many times have you silenced the small voice inside? Now is the time for a Simply New Me. Let empowerment specialist Sharon Ann Marie of simplyanewme.com help you to make what you thought impossible possible and to discover the true power of you. Contact Sharon at simplyanewme.com to purify your life.
Gooder and gooder. Is that even a word, gooder and gooder? Because I promise you, it just keeps getting gooder and gooder. Want to say thank you so much for joining us for our teleconference here with Worldwide Women Speaker. You are an amazing audience. Thank you for being the most valuable part of Worldwide Women Speakers and our teleconference. Your being here, it makes a world of difference. Remember, you're not alone. Don't forget to share your takeaways and your feedback with us. And remember, we got a free ebook waiting for you. We also have more in store just for you. But first, we're going to do what we do. We're going to take a moment and take in the seeds of success that Sharon shared with us today on how to rebrand our life and live after divorce. Don't go anywhere. We got more in store just for you.
Whether you are looking to encourage, educate, inspire, or motivate, hiring a worldwide women's speaker is the perfect way to wow your audience. With such a wide range of talented speakers to choose from, finding the right person can be a bit challenging. That's why we are here to help you. We have the right speaker for your conference, training, and women's event. Contact us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com. That's www.worldwidewomenspeakers.com.
We've been inspired by the inspirational speakers of Worldwide Women Speakers, and now it gives me great pleasure to invite you to be inspired by one of our Worldwide Women Speakers, our keynote speaker for today, Tomika Haynes. Tomika Haynes is a certified holistic practitioner and life coach. She promotes and teaches others how to achieve optimal health and well-being. Her primary focus and assignment is to help us heal, renew our spirits, and establish our faith and increase our virtue. Her holistic approach helps us to transform ourselves and our lives from the inside out. She's a mother. She is an Air Force veteran, which we want to just take a moment and say thank you, Miss Tomika, for serving our country. Listen, if you don't already have it, you want to get it. Your pen and paper, that is. Get your pen and paper ready. Most of all, get your heart ready for a life-changing experience. Today, Tomika will share with us how to rebrand your life and live, because rebranding is holistic. Put your hands together and let's welcome Miss Tomika.
Hello, everyone. I am Tomika Haynes, and thank you so much for joining today. I am grateful that you are here, and I'm so honored to share and impart wisdom as I inspire and motivate you into knowing that no matter what's going on in your life or what season you're in, you can survive, rebrand, and thrive. So let's get started. When we think of rebranding, usually we think of external things like changing our hair, upgrading our cars or our houses, focusing on the way things look. But the truth is, none of those things matter if we haven't upgraded who we are on the inside. We need to really realize that we ourselves are a brand, so we must rebrand from the inside out, because true rebranding is holistic. If we don't do it holistically, we end up in a constant state of changing things instead of ourselves, and we end up surviving instead of thriving. Now, most of us know what it's like to just survive. You know, those times in our life when we're just existing and just holding on, just barely making ends meet or barely keeping our lives together and keeping up with the appearance of being just okay. And I personally know what that's like, because I can remember the days when I was so broken and emotionally absent without even realizing it. I was a new single mom after having a drama-filled breakup. I was working full-time and in college part-time, and everything seemed okay, you know, on the outside. But if you would really know the truth, there were times during that period that I couldn't even remember my son's infant and toddler years, because I was so absent emotionally. I just was not there. Yes, I was doing my job as a mother. Yes, I was getting up and going to work every day and making sure my responsibilities were taken care of. But emotionally,
I was totally absent, and I was deeply depressed. I was about 35 to 40 pounds overweight. I went back and forth with the battle of having high blood pressure and thyroid issues, and barely had enough energy to even make it through the day. On top of that, I was living in a state with no family, and I can't even tell you how I even got through, my life on a daily basis. It definitely was the strength of God and the help of my son's godparents, and at times his paternal family that got me through. Nobody probably even realized it, but I was not in a good space. And the daily cycle was continuously repeating and getting worse. It had actually gotten to the point where I didn't even want to get out of the bed. I was only living to take care of my responsibilities, but I felt no joy at all, no purpose, no sense of purpose at all. I was just going through the daily grind and the daily emotions just to keep up. That right there is exactly what survival mode looks like. And during those times, it feels like life is turning against us. All of the disappointments and setbacks, breakups, financial issues, death of loved ones, relationship issues, and health issues happen. But we have to learn that life struggles are personal, but we don't have to take them personally. Meaning we don't have to absorb these things into our soul and our spirit and hold ourselves hostage to what we're going through or what we've been through or the life we're currently living. And this is exactly where I was at that point in my life. I was being held hostage to a life that I didn't even love living. I wasn't present. There was no joy. I was just going about the constant cycle of day-to-day, things and responsibilities. But the question is, how do we come out of that? When we're at these different turning points in our life, how do we rebrand and thrive? How do we holistically rebrand ourselves when we're at this point? Well, for me, the first thing I realized I had to do is face the truth of where I was and how I felt. I had to face the truth that I was broken and unhappy. No amount of success or anything, my responsibilities of being a good mother, titles, and all of those things were not fulfilling anything in my life. There was definitely a hole there, a broken area, a just unhealed space that needed to be dealt with. So I had to face the truth of that, because the fact of the matter is covered wounds don't heal very well, and lying to ourselves won't heal us either. Only the truth can heal. So I began to face the truth, and I admitted that I was not happy. And though everything around me was okay and everyone else was okay and being taken care of, I was not. I realized it was time to stop ignoring how I really felt about myself and my life, and it was time to stop pretending. You see, chronic pain, health conditions, and negative emotions are all a signal that something needs to change. Sometimes we have to just take a pause and look at the true impact of what's happening and how it's affecting our life, our body, our soul, and our spirit, and everything connected to us. Admitting that we're unhappy does not mean we're ungrateful. I want to repeat that again. Admitting that we're unhappy does not mean we're ungrateful. No matter what life hands us, we have the power to rewrite the vision for our life,
And the minute we give ourselves permission to own our situations and the current state of any part of our life, we give ourselves permission to thrive. So I began taking a look at every area of my life, and that's where the journey began. I began working on my spirit by establishing my faith and becoming closer to God. I began to ask for help where I needed it. I stopped trying to always be Superwoman and started giving myself what I call mental health breaks by allowing my son to go with his godparents on some weekends or even just taking a day off from work to take care of me. And when it came to my health, I also decided that I would take a natural, holistic approach to improve my health and deal with my depression issues. And that's where my pain began to lead to purpose. What I learned was that what was going on inside was affecting my health and my life as a whole. And that helped me to learn what I needed to do to heal myself and in turn teach others what I have learned and continue to learn to get to the root of their health problems and life issues to holistically transform their life. See, the things we go through and the pain of our situations are signs that it's time to heal and give birth to something new. Everything we go through prepares us for everything we've asked for and the destiny that God wants us to have and that destiny that we want for ourselves. I realized that my destiny was on the other side of my pain, and so is yours. Another step I took to rebrand my life after facing the fact that I needed to change was I looked at every area of my life and everything I was doing, and I rated it on a scale from 1 to 10. If something didn't rate an 8 or above, I simply just stopped doing it. I did this with everything in my life, all the way down to my closet. If it didn't make me feel inspired or wasn't beautiful or useful, I got rid of it or gave it away. I even quit college. My major at the time was psychology, and I only had about a year and a half to finish, but I realized that my passion for it was not at that 8 or above. I was just going through the motions, and, yeah, I was successful and an honor roll student, but I had no passion for it at the time at all. And to be honest, I felt really bad about putting it on pause. But I faced the fact that it wasn't, really what I wanted to do at the time. So when I took that pause, it actually freed up the space to take care of me and do the things I was really passionate about. One of those main things being researching and learning about holistic health. I began working out and trying different natural holistic ways to improve my physical and emotional and spiritual health. I surrendered and I allowed the transformation of any part of my life that was out of alignment with being the best version of myself. I was loving myself again. And this is so important to rebranding your life. It's a part that never should be skipped or left out. We have to love ourselves, accept ourselves, and forgive ourselves. We don't normally see it this way because of all of the drama and the certain seasons of our lives that bring the drama and the things in our lives that keep us so busy and so detached from what's really going on. But facing the truth of where we are is the perfect opportunity to learn how to love ourselves again and in a bigger and better way. This first starts with forgiving yourself. It doesn't matter whether you're the victim or not of a circumstance. It doesn't matter if you're the one that caused it. It doesn't matter if you caused your financial issues. It doesn't matter if you made the wrong decision. It doesn't matter if you married the wrong person, didn't look at the red flags. None of that matters. We have to learn to forgive ourselves and give ourselves some grace. Sometimes we unconsciously hold grudges against ourselves for what we went through. We forget that we are just spiritual beings having a human experience and have not lived this life before. We hold it against ourselves for the things that we did not know and the mistakes we've made. But forgiveness is an expression of love. So forgiving ourselves is imperative to surviving and thriving through life and all of the things that we go through and all of the challenges that we face. This love and forgiveness piece is so important because no matter what we're trying to accomplish or recover from, we can only give what we already have. And we really should be giving from our overflow. We must rebuild ourselves up with God's love and the love for ourselves, with compassion and understanding in order to thrive and love from a place of wholeness. It's really not wise to give people broken pieces of ourselves because eventually someone will get cut. And the majority of the time is you. You're the one holding the glass right. It's you that's broken. We don't take the approach of loving ourselves. When we don't take the approach of loving ourselves, we find ourselves constantly in a cycle of living below our desired potential. And most of the time, just miserable. And it will show up in how we treat ourselves and how we treat other people. Taking the time to heal and love ourselves and refill is detrimental to rebranding our life and to become totally fulfilled in our destiny. This also helped me to know what my soul needed. It really helps to recognize when things you desire in your life, like joy, peace, and happiness, comes up missing. But if you haven't taken the time to love yourself and rediscover what makes you joyful, what brings you peace, and what brings you happy, there's no way you'll be able to know when those things come up missing. Like in that part of my story I mentioned earlier, I had no clue that my joy was gone, that my peace was gone, that I wasn't happy, and that I was just going through the motions of everyday life. You have to recognize when what you're getting is not lining up with what you desire so you can change those things. Thriving means to grow or develop vigorously, to prosper, to succeed, and to progress, and be profitable. Thriving means to push forward and push through. When we rebrand our lives in this way, our lives begin to change from the inside out. We no longer feel like we're suffocating or living in a fishbowl, can't breathe, can't keep up. And we're able to just learn how to breathe deeply without worrying about tomorrow. And you find your peace, and you're able to keep it. We come to understanding who we are as a person when we're thriving. We know what we want, and we go after our destiny in spite of what has happened or what will happen in the future. Because no matter what this life hands us, we have the power to write or rewrite the vision of our lives. We must ask ourselves, what do I desire from my life? What about my health, my family, and my future? The minute we give ourselves permission to own our situations and the current state of any part of our life is the minute we can totally rebrand. That's the minute we figure out what puzzle pieces don't belong in the box, and we can take those out and put the ones that fit together. We can live a joyful and prosperous life. This is not to say that things won't happen, because they will. But I realize that every season and every day is a new opportunity for us to reset and learn from what we've been through. And when we do that, we create a path that leads to a prosperous and joyful and healthy life from the inside out. Because no matter how long we live, life is short, and to settle for anything less than what we desire and what God says we deserve is not healthy. That's not what the life that we were called to live. We have to face the truth, heal, grow, learn, and transform. We have to cut the ribbon from all of the pretending and just going through the day-to-day things of life, thinking that's all that we need to do is to have success and deal with the external things. Rebranding your life is holistic, and it has to start from the inside out. So you first have to take that step and face the truth and decide, is this really what I want my life to be? That's the first step to rebranding. And, of course, loving yourself from that point and forgiving yourself for allowing whatever you have allowed to happen to go on for that long is the next step. And once you do that, you're fully able to see clearly and understand what it is you want for your life, what it is that you need to heal, what it is that you need to learn from, and how you need to grow going forward. So it's time to face the truth. Heal, grow, learn, and transform. It's time to cut the ribbons and rebrand your life so that you may be in good health and prosper, just as your soul is prospering. It's time to rebrand your life, and it's time to live. Because rebranding your life is holistic. It's time to upgrade your faith so that you may prosper, even as your soul prosper.
When it comes to your health and well-being, you should never take a one-size-fits-all approach. Life affects your health, and your health affects your life. If you've been dealing with unresolved health concerns or life issues, it's time to take a holistic approach. As a certified holistic practitioner and life coach, Tomika Haynes is committed to getting to the root of the problem. Schedule a free 25-minute consultation with Tomika by calling 877-235-0373. Again, that's 877-235-0373, extension 910.
Ladies, join me in giving Miss Tomika Haynes another round of applause. Are you being held hostage by your pain? Are the broken pieces of your life cutting you? Tomika Haynes reminded us that it's time to face the truth. Face the truth of wherever you are in life because there is healing in the truth. It's time. It's time to rebrand your life and live because rebranding, it's holistic. And God wants us to be healed. He wants us to be whole. Every excuse, my sister, every single excuse that we've had up until now was just eliminated. Thank you, Miss Tomika Haynes. We now have permission to live life to the fullest. Permission has been granted. Tomika said, let your pain lead to purpose. It's time to rebrand your life and LIVE. You know what the great news is? You don't have to do this alone. The Worldwide Women Speakers Dream Team is standing by to walk with you. Contact us today because today is the day. You are the person. You make the choice, and God will make the change. Now that you've been inspired by Miss Tomika Haynes, let's take a moment and reflect on the rebranding strategies that she shared with us today. After all, rebranding is holistic, and God wants us to be healed. He wants us to be whole. Let's consider your top 3 takeaways. What an amazing time we've had together today. Thank you so much for choosing to focus your time, energy, and conversation with leaders who inspire you, support you, and help you grow into your happiest, strongest, and wisest self. We hope you are inspired to learn more, do more, dream more, be more, believe more, and become more. Let's recap the rebranding strategies that were shared with us today. Angela Denise said, believe in yourself. Jessaca Rowe said, connect yourself with great people who believe in you. Venus Chandler said, surround yourself. Surround yourself with women who will call you up to your greatness. Athena Blue reminded us to think for yourself. If you're going to rebrand yourself, you have to think for yourself. Sharon Marie reminded us how important it is to forgive ourselves. And Tomika Haynes shared with us how important it is to move yourself out of the way, because your destiny is on the other side of your pain. It's time to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start again. It's time to rebrand your life. Your brand is not only how you look, it's what you say, it's how you act. Your brand is what other people say about you when you leave the room. What legacy will you leave? We want to encourage you here at Worldwide Women Speakers to be the vibe you want to attract. And don't ever forget, what feels like the end is often the beginning. Greater things are yet to come if you will be willing to take action and get back up. We want to encourage you to stay connected. You can connect with us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com. You can email us at worldwidewomenspeakers@gmail.com, or you can phone at 1-877-235-0373. That number again is 1-877-235-0373. Stay connected. Let us help you be all that God has created you to be. Please remember to complete your evaluation that will be sent to you in your inbox. And always remember, the world awaits your greatness. It's time to rebrand your life and LIVE.
Whether you are looking to encourage, educate, inspire, or motivate, hiring a worldwide women speaker is the perfect way to wow your audience. With such a wide range of talented speakers to choose from, finding the right person can be a bit challenging. That's why we are here to help you. We have the right speaker for your conference, training, and women's event. Contact us today at worldwidewomenspeakers.com. That's www.worldwidewomenspeakers.com.